Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday morning here in Birmingham. We've got a little weather coming in this afternoon, say around 2 o'clock, in my area. So today, I thought I would film a video. The other day, I showed you guys a Br600 that came in that I believe that the top end was gone, maybe just the rings. Don't really know. I've already got it taken apart, and we're down to the engine. So today's video, I'm going to break down the engine for you. We're going to take a look-see and see what's going on with it. Like I said, I've already broken it down. So I don't know if you can see. It's kind of like where I stash stuff when it's going to rain. But anyway, and there's the yard out here, just in case anybody wants to know. All that's money right there. All three of those are ready and ready to go. That's the Kawasaki. It's still sitting here. They're supposed to come get it. That's the Z5000. It's ready to go. And this is a Z Master. I think it's a 4000 with the bad coils on it. It had the bad coils. Got that back together yesterday. Let's see if it'll crank. Yeah, before on that Z there, I told you it had an intermittent. It was running on one cylinder, but the other one was coming on and going out, cutting in, cutting out. Real hard to start. Like I said, I did some spark check on it first, and then ohmed out the coils, and realized that's what it was. But you can waste a lot of time on something like that if you don't do your diagnosis right, like all these other guys are saying, because you would think it may be a fuel delivery problem. Valves, whatever, but it just turned out to be the coils were bad, and now it fires right up. My first clue is it was hard to start, but if you did get it running, you could drive around and you could hear the engine, picking up power, and then it might run, perfect power for a minute or two, and then it would lose that cylinder and the power would drop down. So, plus he leaves his equipment out in the weather and the rain all the time. I was hoping maybe it would just be the post needed, sanding down or whatever, but that wasn't it. So anyway, let's go ahead and get on this, break this down real quick. Get you up here next to me. Now, a couple of things on this. Like I said, I've already broken this all the way down and got it here. Now, there's a spark plug in it still. I kind of just wanted to show you how easy this is to spin. There's no resistance at all. So that tells me that the rings are bad. And maybe the cylinder or the piston is worn. The cylinder wall is worn too much too. Probably somebody ran straight gas in it. But there's no play in the crank, so I'm pretty positive it's not the crank bearings or the seals down here. There's no evidence of oil leaking out or gas oil mixture leaking out the bottom end. So we're going to go ahead and start taking this apart. And so what you're going to need here, this is a 10 millimeter spark plug. So you can put the old string in here if you want to, but run your piston all the way down to the bottom. Then I got this is what you call a piston stop. It's a 10 millimeter piston stop. You want to screw that in. What we're doing here, we're doing this because we want to, same thing when you're taking it apart to get the fan off, you're going to have to do the same thing. What we want to do is get this nut off here to get this flywheel off. So I'm going to turn it backwards. This is not a left-handed nut. It comes off just like that. If you can get by with it, don't use an impact. Try to just get you a long, breaker bar. And you may have to get you a rag and just hold this down, and it'll come right loose, just like that. Hope everybody's doing okay this morning. Just thought I'd do this video real quick. I put everything in there, and then if that won't come off, if it doesn't slide right off, you can do the old hammer trick on it. I just, you can take whatever you got. Just be careful, don't crack the block, because it is aluminum. It's very easy to snap. Find you a good spot. You could just probably take a screwdriver. It shouldn't require much. That ain't gonna work. Well, where is my good hitter when I need it? Let me see. I'll be right back, guys. First delay of the video. So this doesn't have to be, you don't have to hit it too hard because it's not on there very tight. I can't find my brass hammer, so I'm just going to take and put me a little cloth over that. Pry up. Well, it's a little harder than I thought. Maybe if I get me something better to pry with it. There we go. Alright, guys. Sorry about that. Anyway, so now you can see it's loose. Wind's blowing quite a bit today too. So then this will come right up, and the flywheel key on these are built right in here. So you want to check that, make sure it's not worn. These come pre-made like this, so if that's bad, you have to get your new flywheel. Keep in mind, I'm not a Stihl authorized dealer by no means, but I've done quite a few of these. I'm going to put that in there. We'll go ahead and take the coil off next. It's a T27. Most everything on this Stihl is a T27, except for the flywheel nut. That's a 1/2 inch, and I believe the fan, I forget what the fan size is. Let's see here. Probably should have just went ahead and taken the coil off before we got here, but that's all right. All right. That's it. Coil's off. Now we'll go ahead and take our, oh yeah, don't lose these. When that coil came off, there's 2 little washers that go on there as well. You don't want to lose those. I think I'll go ahead and take my piston stop back out. Save it. Next thing is going to be the valve cover. T27 again. Yeah. I would have shown the whole process of taking this off the taking the the fan off and the cover and all this off, but that would have been quite a long video. Now, whoops, when you're taking this out, there's going to be a little brass washer under here, but save it. you know, for your spares or whatever, because when you go to put this back on, you're going to have to put a new valve cover on it, gasket in there, and in the kit comes that piece. All right, just a light little tap should break this loose. If not, you can, there's a little pry place right here you can get under there. Boom. Valve cover off. All right, there's your valves. On these 600s and up, they have valves. They may have started a little lower than that. These are 8mm right here. And I believe I've got it right there. 8mm. I'm just going to go ahead and loosen these up so I can get the push rods on out. You don't have to take it all the way off. Just loosen it up. Loosen both of them up so you can get those rockers to move off the and yeah, just spin it. You gotta be careful, they'll drop in here. See, if you're ever servicing one of these and you don't want to take it apart, be real careful. If you're loosening these up too far, they'll fall right back in. So there you go. 2 push rods, they're exactly the same. Kind of look at them, make sure they're not bent, roll them around on a flat surface. Those look good. All right. And if you look in here, actually, there's usually a lot of carbon buildup in here. But on this one, it's not too bad actually. So you can go at this 2 ways from this point on. You can go ahead and drop the bottom end. There's 4 T27s on here that drop the crankcase pan. That's probably what I'm going to do. This is your timing cover. There's a cam gear underneath this cover. We'll get to that. Let's go ahead and just drop this bottom end. See what's under there. 4 T27s again. These may be a little harder. Yeah, you might want to take a rag and put over it so you don't booger up your hands. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again, I could have my drill, I guess, to speed this up, but I think I will get my drill. Feeling a little lazy this morning. All right. One, 2, 3, 4. All right. Now, you can lightly tap on this, but keep in mind again, it's aluminum. So I'm going to use my rubber. Just kind of tap on it till it's loose on both sides, like that. And this baby should come off just like this. This is your crank pan, or oil pan, whatever you want to call it. You want to kind of look around here and make sure it's not worn too bad. That looks really good. So we got that off. There's your crank. There's an oil seal on both sides, one here, and there's two bearings. One bearing, two bearings. We'll get into those a little bit in just a second, but first we're just gonna see if we can't pull this out, and it'll come out with the piston and everything. Sometimes you may have to tap on it. Just a little bit, break it free. All right. There we go. So first thing I'm going to look at, well, probably the rings, but since I've got it turned this way, I'm going to look at these bearings. They seem really good. Now these oil seals look good as well on this one, but since we've already broken it down, just to be safe, I'd go ahead and recommend putting new oil seals in as well when you're putting it back together. Now let's look at this top side. Keep in mind we didn't have any compression at all. And you can see, well, you may not be able to see as good as I can, but this top ring up here, looks a little, it's the bottom ring sticks out a whole lot more. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but on this side over here, this top ring, and it would be on the exhaust side, I believe. Let's see, let me get it facing like. So if we were looking at this, if it was in the engine, and you'd be pulling to crank the engine on this side, and this side would be where your fan, your blower housing is. So your intake would be on this side of the piston, and your exhaust is on this side. You can see that. So I know the rings are wore out. The piston looks in fairly good shape once I clean it up and get all this carbon off of here. All right. Now let's look inside the cylinder. I don't know how good you can see in there. Wow. Exhaust valve is okay. If you look in here really good, I'm gonna shine the light. You'll see these are the two valves, and if you look on the exhaust valve side there, that'll be the one that looks like it's cream colored. It's it's taking some heat, so we may have a valve not sealing good. So we'll pop those out and clean them up and see. I may have to order a valve for it too. Matter of fact, it looks like I'm definitely going to have to order a valve for it because that valve's toast. I don't know, can you see in there? I'm trying to get you a good shot of it. It's hard to, I'm going to turn it over this way. See that exhaust valve? That's the one that's, yeah, anyway. So, the cylinder wall, you can't see it, but the cylinder wall looks fairly good. But I can see some metal in there, like little metal shavings, and I'm guessing that came off that exhaust valve. Let me get my little magnet. I'm going to put my magnet down in there, and we're going to see if that is, in fact, metal shavings. Nope, it's just dirt. Alright. So, that's pretty much it. What we'll do is I'll clean all this stuff up, take these rings off, and clean everything real good and nice. If you want to go ahead and pop the valves out of here, it's very easy because there's hardly no pressure on these. It's not like a big engine. So you can just take your fingers and mash in, right? So you got your top piece that comes right off, your spring. And that valve just fell right out. So that's the exhaust valve. A little closer look at it. It may not be as bad as I thought it was. And we want to look and make sure our valve guides didn't move. Valve guides look good on that side. Let's take the intake. We'll take the intake off and see what it looks like. Again, retainer and spring. And valve fell right out. And that's your intake valve. You can tell the intake's bigger than the exhaust. So we'll clean those up and see. These don't cost very much. If we just put one, if you want to put new ones in there, you can. Doesn't look like the valve guide moved on this one either. You can kind of look back down in there. I need better lighting, don't I, guys? But all that looks good, man. So I'm thinking we're just going to have to put rings in this one. I'm going to give him the option to go ahead and put a new piston in it if he wants to. So, let's see if we can get this up here on the screen. I wrote down the part numbers here. On the top here is your rings. That's the Stihl part number. The second line is a piston with ring kits in case you want to go ahead and change the piston too. You can get the rings, the piston, and the whole kit together. And then on the bottom, this bottom number is your valve cover gasket, and it comes with a feeler gauge. It's 4 thousandths is what they need to be set at, but that comes with it. So basically, you got two options here. Since this one looks really good, I could get by with just putting rings and a valve cover kit in it. And you're looking at like $20 for the set of rings, a good OEM Stihl rings, and another 10 for that valve cover kit. And if you're going to do the piston and ring thing, go that route, it's going to be probably about $90 because that original Stihl OEM is $70, and then another 10 be 80. So it's 30 or $80. I'm gonna give him the option, whatever he wants to do. But I'm guessing somebody just ran this with straight gas for a little bit of time. All right. So I hope everybody enjoyed my video today. Just wanted to do something a little different. I'm gonna come out here and start grinding on that Gravely that I got going on. I got a little more progress done on it. I'm just doing a little bit at a time. Like I said, I don't want to mess it up. Yeah. All right, that wind's really picking up, guys. So we're gonna call this a video for the day. Jungle Bob out.